Hi there, I am going to show you how to make some sushi rolls super easily. And it's your choice whether you make them be sweet, like a dessert, like a frushi with fruit inside, or if you make them savory. And savory does not mean that you have to use raw fish. So if you were a little leery, just keep watching. There will be something that you will enjoy putting inside of your sushi, even if it's not raw. So the basic things that you need just to get started in the process is short grain rice. This is the most important thing. There are many ways of cooking it. I'm going to show you my favorite. You want short grain rice, so it's very, very sticky. It does not, I always thought it would say sushi rice, but it actually just says short grain rice. So any short grain rice will do. When you are done measuring it out, so I did 2 cups of the short grain rice, put it into a fine mesh, like a sieve here, like what I've got. Rinse it under cold water for about a minute or even closer to 2 minutes until the rinse water comes through pretty clear, or at least mostly clear. You're gonna get a lot of extra starch off and you're gonna worry, is it gonna be sticky? I promise you, it will still be sticky. The other thing that you will need is something to cook it in. My favorite is our micro cooker, the three quart, yes, 3 quart, maybe 4 quart, the large micro cooker. It comes in a set. You'll know exactly which one I mean. It comes with a nice couple part lid. I left part of the parts in here because I was trying to show you. This one, it has a boil over guard so that as I am cooking my rice, we'll snap it together in just a second. As I'm cooking my rice in my pot in the microwave, it will keep the extra starchy water from boiling all over the microwave, like, little glass tray. So anyway, you're gonna do the rice in the cooker. You're going to measure out 3 cups of water. You're gonna throw it in just like that for 15 minutes. Let it set for 10 more. So just finishes just slowly absorbing the water. And then we're going to come back and we're going to have a little sushi fun. Hi, sushi rice is all done. It cooked for 15 minutes in the microwave. It sat for 10 more. And the boil over, you can see it's all wet in here. It did its job, kept everything from boiling all over the place. Oops, I'm going to take this away because really now we want to let some steam off. So what I'm going to do before I even worry about stirring this sticky thing in here is I'm going to mix up a 1/4 cup of sugar and a 1/4 cup of rice vinegar. There we go. We're going to do our best with our little whisk in here. We're going to stir it up. If it's not 100% dissolved, that's okay. There we go. Because once it hits the rice, it's going to keep mixing and keep dissolving. So do your best, but once you feel like you've done your best, stir it right in and don't feel bad. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stir that over. There we go. Don't leave anything behind in the measuring cup. And then I'm going to take my cute little stirring spatula here, get that little mini scraper in and give it a stir. This rice is already pretty incredibly sticky. You can see it's kind of like in clumps as I'm stirring it. This little bit of added sugar, plus of course the yummy flavoring from the rice vinegar is going to make it a little bit stickier yet. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt because rice without salt is just a sad thing. Okay, there we go. I'm gonna give it one more stir because I don't want just a salt layer, right? I'm gonna do this. Now you can see all the steam. This is really too hot to make sushi with yet. So I'm gonna set it aside for about a half an hour. Once it comes down closer to room temperature, we'll be ready to begin. While I'm waiting, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get all of our delicious toppings, fillings, whatever you like to call them, fixed up. So we're gonna start with the couple that I've already actually got done. I cheated a little bit. So this is our prep and serve and store set. So I have a cutting board and it's got these amazing little containers, and it has, let me take the containers out so I can show you better. And it has this lovely tray with the cooling pucks that you can freeze so that you can keep everything cold for a long time. So what I've done is I got my cooling pucks in the tray, and I made a couple of different of like the main items that you might choose in my sushi buffet. So I've got some spicy tuna salad. Super easy. Canned tuna that you drain, add some mayonnaise and whatever spicy seasonings you have, like Cholula or Sriracha. I add a little bit of soy sauce and ta-da, done. And then I did another one up with faux crab legs. Again, you don't have to eat like the raw stuff. We can have fun stuff. If you had more like a seafood salad, you could use imitation like shredded crab, and you could make a really nice little seafood salad-y kind of thing. This is what I had on hand though, and they fit perfectly in these containers, so it's great for a sushi buffet day. Now I'm going to go on and I'm going to work on another container of toppings. So what I have here are some carrots. Ideally you use real big carrots, but I realized I don't have real carrots right now. I have just the baby carrots. So guess what? It's not really a problem. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get out my Rapper Pet mandolin. I love this thing. It works with any size food, really. When I am doing the sushi things, I really want things that are going to be kind of like a matchstick cut, right? I want it to be skinny so it can fit down the middle. So what I can do, let me take this back out, is I am going to set this up so that it is slicing things thinly. So I spun this all the way around to the thin slice, and then I'm going to use this that has the pre-settings already on here. There we go. So to kind of the julienne cut, or they would call this like the shoestring potato cut, because they put these together in terms of French fries, but that's what I want. I want a nice julienne carrot. Now I'm ready to go. I'm going to put my little hopper out here. I'm going to put my food holder here. And when I load my carrots, now usually I just stick everything in like this way and just let my amazing Rapper Prep mandolin do its business. But what I'm going to do today for this is I'm gonna move this again, but you'll see why in a second. I'm gonna take my carrots, since they're baby carrots, and I am going to turn them so that they are laying flat in there. And then that way I get like the long julienne strips, and I can kind of cheat the system here. There we go. I think I've got room for one more. And I might have some little ones, but that's okay too. I'll just pick out the ones that I like the best. I'm gonna put this food pusher on there, and that's gonna hold them in position, and then ta-da, here we go. And check me out, matchstick carrots. Who was gonna do that by hand, right? But Rapper Pet Mandolin's the rescue. So I'm gonna do a few more of those, and then I'll come back and I will show you the next things that we're gonna add to our buffet. All right, carrots are done. Next veggie on our buffet is going to be a cucumber. So I grabbed one of those English cucumbers so I don't have to peel it. I don't have to worry about too many seeds in it. And I'm going to do it kind of like what I did the carrots, except of course, this thing can't lay in that little area on my Rapper Pet mandolin as easily. It's a little too long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the food holder to kind of help me measure and cut a few of these that are a little shorter, of course, than the space allotted. There we go. And now, a little bit on the end is my snack when I'm all done talking to you. And all of these guys are the right size to fit right in here. So here we go. Let me turn this down so you can see just a wee bit better. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna slide them in there, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and get some fun little julienne things. Okay, same setting as before. Some nice little julienne cucumbers come right out. So I'm gonna keep going on those, and then I'm gonna show you how I'm going to display those for our buffet. Now, when it comes time to serve all of these things up, of course, clean fingers are great and acceptable tools. For my tuna, I'm going to use something to scoop it, but this is called the garnish grabber. It's the coolest little tool you're going to want to have in your arsenal for sushi and for pickled jars and olives and just everything in between. So this tool, you push on the plunger and it comes out and it grabs things so that, for instance, if I want just a couple pieces of carrot, I don't have to dig around in there and try to grab. I can just grab one at a time, or maybe I'll grab a couple at a time, but there'll be two little ones. And so it saves a lot of mess and it makes things like this really fast. So ready? As soon as that sushi rice is cooled all the way, we're sushiing it up.